How do you get Turkish citizenship? And how can you benefit from this easy second passport with even easier rules? Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson, and not so long ago, in January of 2017, I made a video here on YouTube where I talked about how to get a Turkish citizenship. They had just started what's called a Citizenship by Investment program, where you make an investment in the country, and within a matter of months, you get a Turkish passport. And initially, I really panned the program because I felt, who are these people to charge so much, to put such a high price tag on a passport that I would call a Tier C passport? You can't go to Europe with it. You can't go to the UK. You have good travel to a lot of other places, but it just doesn't compare to the other passports that offer similar methods, such as the Caribbean options we've talked about here before. But there are some new rules, and I want to explain why this may be valuable to you. Now, back in the beginning, when they first launched this program, the Turkish real estate market was in a slump. Developers were complaining because they had built so much inventory and they didn't know what to do with it. A lot of this overpriced inventory was frequently sold to people from the Middle East who maybe had a lot of wealth, their passports weren't so good, and they liked the idea of having a secular country in the Muslim world give them a passport, just in case something in their home country, the sheik went crazy. That's who I felt it was designed for. It was designed to keep the people in the Middle East spending $1 million on real estate, and hey, you haven't been buying as much, but if you come back and spend that $1 million, we'll give you a passport. Well, the program flopped because in the Caribbean, you can just donate $100,000 and get a passport. Why invest $1 million in real estate when people are already concerned? So here we are sometime later, and the Turkish government has introduced a new set of rules. Here's how you can get a Turkish passport. There are 3 ways. Number 1, you can invest $250,000 in real estate. Now, there are no restrictions on exactly what you buy. It doesn't have to be approved real estate. It doesn't have to be overpriced, but there are some details I'll come back to in a moment. Number 2, you can put $500,000 in the bank or into some kind of fixed deposit, some kind of financial instrument. Number 3, you can start a company and employ 50 people. Now, who would want a Turkish passport? This is always a question that I think is important to ask. A lot of people in past videos have commented, I wouldn't pay to be Turkish. And the reality is that a Turkish passport is a Tier C passport. As I said, you can't go as many places. But where this may play an interesting role for a nomad capitalist is as part of a passport portfolio. Let's say you already have a passport from, let's say, St. Lucia. You can go to the UK, to Ireland, to Europe, to Hong Kong, to Singapore. A Turkish passport gives you access, because it's such a big country, to a lot of other countries that are difficult for most people to get visa-free travel to if they don't have a Western passport. Thailand, South Africa, Paraguay, Mexico, a lot of places in the Middle East. So if you're looking to take your current Western-friendly passport and add on to it without really wasting a lot of money, it may be an interesting option. Now, there are things to consider like military service, the fact that you possibly can't pass it down to your kids if that's a concern for them. But if you are not really young, you can get a Turkish passport and use that to travel around. The devil is in the details, though. For example, a $250,000 real estate investment, you can go to Istanbul and you can buy property, and that property may do relatively well. Istanbul property has done very well over the years. You can get decent rental yields. But the caveat is, even though the amount that they specify is in US dollars, there are some weird details in the 6 months that I've been researching this program in anticipation of the price reduction, where it's the US dollar equivalent in Turkish lira. And the Turkish lira has been sliding recently, so it's kind of hard to pin down exactly what that exact amount of property you need to buy is. You also need to buy all the same properties in the same neighborhood, so you can't say, I'm going to buy one in Istanbul for $200,000, and then I'm going to go down to the coast and pay $50,000. They all have to be registered in the same place on the same day. So there are a lot of little rules that can trip people up, and I've been working on creating a system for people to actually get a Turkish passport following the rather complicated rules. If you want to put money in the bank, we're still trying to figure out exactly, how do you do that? How many banks can you do it in? Because somebody might say, I don't want to put $500,000 into one bank. I don't want to put my money into the lira. I don't want to collect money in lira. So there are a lot of considerations that come into play, but what I see the Turkish passport before The previous offer, the $1 million level, was only for folks who were going to be buying there anyway. Just get something as an add-on. Now, it's a possibility for two groups of people. That same group of Middle Eastern investors who have rather mediocre passports and they want a protection plan. But for our audience of Westerners, it makes sense as something to add on to other citizenships you may have, to say, hey, I don't want to have to get a visa every time I go to Thailand, and I have to do that as a St. Lucian, Grenadian, whatever. Turkey can solve that problem for you, and if you invest properly, and if you follow the rules, and if you don't mess it up, then you may actually make a profit on that property, both in terms of monthly rents from renting it out, both in terms of selling it at a profit later. You may actually be able to make this a profitable passport. We have a separate video about how to get paid to get a passport. And this may be one you can use to accomplish that, but there are a lot of details that you have to follow, and so you want to do it properly. I don't think any US citizens are going to be giving up their citizenship to become only Turkish. But if you look at things in the grand scheme of things, if you look at it as belt and suspenders, as I often do when it comes to citizenship planning, Turkey may be an interesting option for someone who likes investing in real estate, who has cash sitting around, and who wants to expand their options. I'm Andrew Henderson, and if you're looking for a way to legally reduce your taxes, build your freedom, and create wealth faster as a global citizen, then you've come to the right place. I want you to do 3 things right now. Number 1, click the button to subscribe to our channel. Make sure to get notifications so you never miss a new video. Number 2, get a copy of our #1 best-selling book, Nomad Capitalist, on Amazon, and learn all the dozens of benefits of our lifestyle. And number 3, if you're already a 6- or 7-figure entrepreneur and you want to put these strategies in place, go to nomadcapitalist.com and find out how to get some help.